Welcome to another episode of Out of the Pods. I'm Deep Tea.
And I'm Natalie, and happy Wednesday. It's our last Wednesday until we start recapping Love is Blind Season 8.
Yes, and this episode is all about love.
It is, because in 2 days it's Valentine's Day, and what a day it is for us.
Yeah.
Who's your Valentine?
Me, myself, and I choose me.
I thought you were going to say I was.
I was going to say that, and I was like, oh, that's very... No, I should have said that, actually. You're the first one that came to mind.
I think you're like, no, actually.
Like, wait a minute.
I thought it was going to be a cute moment, and I was going to say, oh my God, you're mine too. And then you go, me, myself, and I. And I was like,
that's all I got. No, I'm just kidding.
And I was like, same.
You're like, oh, me too. I'm dead. In the spirit of love and Valentine's Day, I have a funny story to tell you.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, the other day, you know when you like are scrolling and you find somebody's post that you haven't seen in a really long time?
Yeah, like someone you follow on social media and you forget you followed them.
Yes.
But like they were in your life at some point.
Yes. And this man like rarely posts, so I never see any of his stuff. So it's like never top of mind to me. And I was looking and I was like, wait a minute. Like I remember this dude. Like he's so cute. He's a surgeon. And he's
say
older.
More. Say more.
Say more. So I randomly was like, let me go creep on him. So I'm looking at our old messages and he's not like over the top, like trying to like love bomb me or try to like hang out or see me or anything like that. It's just more like, oh, hey, this is like something cutesy I found. And it was like, honestly, probably only 5 messages in the span of 2 years.
Okay, he's being like a respectful DMer.
Yes. And I'm like, oh, I love this because you're right. He's being respectful. He's not being like annoying like a lot of other men are in my DMs.
Like the ones that like DM every other day. And you're like, okay, get the point. I'm not responding to you. I don't know you. I love the little check-in once in a while.
Yes, exactly. But I went back and I started creeping on this man because I was like, let me just go see what he's been up to in life, you know? Yeah. And
who is this guy? Like someone you've met a couple of years ago?
I have not met him before, but my family knows him. And that's all I'll say about that. And oh my gosh, Natalie, I was creeping so hard at one point. Like I even went into his tagged photos because he doesn't post much. So I'm like, I need more content. Like I need to know more about your life. And I'm being such a creeper, like 100% a creeper. And I like something of his from 2004.
What?
I'm mortified. And
that was 11 years ago.
I know. And my immediate reaction was to unlike it. And I wasn't even thinking. And I'm like, oh, this is so embarrassing. Like, what are the chances that he doesn't have notifications on?
I would have unliked it.
Right? Okay. Was that the right course of action? Because I feel like
if it was from that long ago.
It's so bad.
Like, oh, no. I would just have unliked it because I was like, I don't want him to know I scrolled all the way down.
It's so bad. And I was like, oh my gosh, what if like I message him in the future? I'm like, hey, you want to meet up? Like anything like that. Like he's going to be so weirded out now.
Okay, I feel like if he was like DMing you to feel it out, I feel like he would be flattered. Like I would be so flattered if a guy I really liked a photo from 2007.
Really?
I'd be like, wow, he's like, he really wants to get to know me without actually asking me questions about myself. Like he's just curious or he's looking at my profile proactively, you know?
So good. Okay.
So I'd be like, oh, wow.
Oh, you know what? Okay. So maybe he'll be like, oh, she's just investigating. She just has her FBI hat on. Right?
Everyone knows that you investigate the people you have an interest in. Okay. Like
totally.
Before I go on a date, and this is me just being safe and protecting myself and trying to assess compatibility. Like, I don't think it's creepy at all. If I'm going on a date with a guy, you best believe I'm going to find out where his parents live. And I will do it.
And honestly, I try.
Yeah.
But this man gives out no info, I swear.
Did Instagram even exist, though, in 2004? I thought it came out in 2011.
I don't know. Maybe it was 2014. I don't know. It just felt like a really long, it was like really, really old post.
Did you say 2014? Because I said it was 10 years ago, but if it was 2004, then it was 20 years ago.
Okay, I don't know. It was either 2004 or 2014. There was a 4 at the end of it.
Did I say that was 11 years ago? I don't even remember what I just said.
I don't remember either. But honestly, the fact that kids who were born in 2000 or 25 is absolutely insane to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so old.
2004 feels like 15 years ago.
The
math is not mathing there, but like in my mind, I was like, yeah, 2004, like that was just 15 years ago.
Wait, was Instagram out in 2004? I have no idea.
It wasn't.
That was a MySpace days, wasn't it?
Yeah, like I feel like Instagram came out maybe in 2010. I mean, I don't know.
Okay, must have been 2014 then, but it was an old picture.
We love that though. The fact you were able to scroll to 2014 super easily, I hope, or were you like really scrolling?
No, I wasn't really scrolling because he doesn't have much
on
his Insta.
I love that. I love when like men don't post a lot.
Me too.
I think it's a green flag.
I agree. And I don't know. I had this like really crazy like urge to message him. But I thought it'd be really creepy, and I was like, "Nope, take a step back."
Like being like, "Hey, sorry, I liked your post."
No, are you kidding me? You think I would out myself like that? No chance in hell I would ever do that. No, I just to be like, "Hey, like, I'm so sorry. I only, liked the post that you sent me from a year ago. Like, I should have been more interactive." And I'm like, why did I not see how great of a guy he was then?
Well, what made you come to this realization?
Well, he randomly posted and he hadn't in like forever.
And you just missed him.
And it came up on my feed and I was like, who's this man? I was like, oh, I know this man. And then I started the creeping. And mind you, this happened at 1 a.m.
Look, all you have to do is ask your family member to introduce you to this guy.
I know.
He follows you. He DMs you like, oh.
I know. I even looked this man up on LinkedIn.
Of course, you have
that to. That was like, yeah, that's number 2.
You have to do that.
I know. Maybe in a couple months I'll message him.
That's number 1. Like when I meet a guy, I was like, I'm going to find out your LinkedIn.
You know what was holding me back from messaging him? I really thought about it, but I was like, I want to be in a better space mentally and not do it from like, oh my gosh, I'm panicking. Let me just like message him to kind of like cover up my anxiety from liking a post, So I'm like, I'm just going to wait for a few months and see how I feel.
A few months?
Yeah.
You know what? You got to strike when it's hot, okay?
Yeah, but it's not hot for him. It's just hot for me.
I feel like the best course of action is like you don't do anything. You just never acknowledge it.
Yep.
And then let them like figure out like, why did this person like my post?
That's my thought process too. And it's like once the dust settles and he no longer thinks of me, like right now, maybe there's like a seed that's planted.
But DD, if you wait a few months, what if he finds a girlfriend? Okay. What if he starts dating another girl in a few months?
Great point, because one of my friends said that to me too. And I literally told her, I was like, well, if it's meant to be, then he'll be single. I don't care.
I don't believe in that.
I don't know. It just doesn't feel like the right time. I feel like there's so much going on in my life that I feel like he's going to be a distraction at the moment. So I don't want to pursue it. Because he doesn't live in the city. So it's not like it'd be easy to meet up. You know what I mean? So I think I'm just going to wait it out.
Look, I always say strike when the iron's hot. That is my motto in life. If you want something, go get it.
Yeah.
But I feel you. Like, I feel like you are very much like, it doesn't feel good. Like, you're trusting your gut instinct.
Yeah.
Which, yes, I try to do. Mm-hmm. But I also have this mindset of like, let me do something now.
Yeah, I know. I was divided in those two thoughts, actually. I was like, should I just do it? But I think I'm going to wait. So I'll give the Pod Besties an update when I do send that message finally.
I always tell the story about that time I was in college and I overdrafted my checking account by accident. And the fact I was charged a $100 overdraft fee, I not only had to pay that back, but I also had to pay the negative balance in my account. And as a college student, that was so tough on my finances. And speaking about fees, there are so many extra fees these days at the movies, airline fees, when you buy concert tickets. It always feels like we're taking 2 steps back on our financial progress when we're just trying to move forward.
Yes, that's why I really like Chime. A Chime checking account makes financial progress easier with features like no maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. You just set up direct deposit in your Chime account, and after a qualifying direct deposit of $200 plus, Chime will notify you to enroll in SpotMe. With an activated debit card, Chime will spot you up to $200 when you exceed your balance. Your next direct deposit is applied to your negative balance.
Make progress towards a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/outofthepods.
That's chime.com/outofthepods. Chime feels like progress.
Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
You know, I feel like there's a lot more people out there who hate reality TV that we run into than there are who do love it. I love reality TV. I feel like it's real people. I feel like writers couldn't even make up half the things that reality TV people do on screen. Yeah. I'm like, I couldn't have scripted this. Like,
oh, yeah.
That's just how
100%.
Crazy personalities there are.
I feel like that's why people really like Love is Blind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, any type of reality TV.
Yeah.
I feel like because Love is Blind tries to cast, for the most part, well, it's like half and half.
Half and half, yeah.
They try to cast like more normal people that you see in your everyday life, like a coworker, you know, a friend, someone you see at the doctor's office. And then you have this other set of quintessential crazy reality TV show personalities. But I feel like it's the normal people where you're like, there's someone like I kind of know.
Yeah, you can relate to somebody's personality or their actions.
Yeah, on Love is Blind. I feel like it's the normal people on Love is Blind where you're like, oh, I like feel like I kind of know them.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it like kind of popular. And then they're put in these like this crazy experiment. And that's why I'm really excited for season 8, which comes out in 2 days. Like, can you believe it comes out in 2 days?
How is it already February 14th? Like, it's insane.
I know. It's like right around the corner. But I'm excited for it because I feel like when you think about Minnesota, you think just, I don't know, it's not like glitzy and glammy like New York City, LA. You just, I don't know, I think about just like very normal people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to love seeing them in this experiment.
I agree. I'm not going to lie. I don't have any thoughts about Minnesota because I've just not been exposed to it whatsoever. But I'm very excited to see what the cultural differences are and if they are going to be glammed or not. Because season 8, right? Like they've seen previous seasons before. Like I feel like people's behaviors and mannerisms change a little bit and their appearance too. I feel like if I was on a season 8 versus a season 2, I would dress differently. I would do my makeup differently, you know, and because you just know like how popular the show is. And
yes, the clothing for reunions have changed. Like I feel like for our reunion, we didn't get a makeup artist or a hairstylist, right? Like we kind of did everything ourselves and just put on a nice dress. And now I feel like it's getting very glitzy and glammy for the reunion episodes.
Absolutely.
But looking at the trailer for season 8 and everyone's kind of in just like jeans and like, you know, like button up tops. I feel like those hometown scenes when they're back in their hometowns, I feel like they just dress very like Midwestern. Casual, you know, nothing crazy, nothing like hugely designer.
Yeah, I absolutely love the Midwest, and I think the people here are the best. Dun. So I'm really looking forward to this season also.
The only thing I hate about these newer seasons is more spoilers are out there, and something came up on my feed on TikTok where someone just shares the ending of Love is Blind season 8, like who gets married, like some things they've heard about like the other people's storylines. And I was like, now I'm gonna watch the show knowing who gets married, what happens to so-and-so, who might be the villain, and it kind of sucks.
Yeah, don't tell me.
No, I won't, but it kind of like taints my, I don't know, like my viewing experience.
Absolutely. Like I hate spoilers so much because it takes away from the whole experience, you know? And I feel like the tension that builds up in the first 6 episodes even, I'm always like waiting and anticipating to see what happens.
Yeah.
You know? And especially that we recap it, I'm like, wait a minute. Like I just love our predictions and what we think is going to happen. And when you already know, it kind of sucks.
What I hate about the first drop of episodes is that there's 6. I totally get why they do 6, right? Because they want the show to be in the top 10. Because the top 10 on Netflix's chart rankings is based on like hours or minutes watched.
Yeah, I absolutely hate when they do that because Netflix is all about binging shows. So the fact that they segment it out makes me so angry. Like, I just want the whole season. Just give me the whole season and I'll wait 2 weeks for the reunion. Like, why couldn't they do it like that? And it just like they're mimicking cable now, and it frustrates me so much. I'm like, just give me this whole show.
I realized with Netflix, they like pick and choose which shows they do it with.
Yes.
Definitely Love is Blind is one of them. And I think they also do it for like Too Hot to Handle and The Circle. It's like any of their more popular reality TV shows.
Yes. But for the other ones, they don't do it as much. Like, like the scripted TV series, they don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Not as often.
Not as often, yeah. So I don't know, man. I'm very much looking forward to it, but I'm not going to get my hopes too high because, I don't know, last season just disappointed me a little bit.
Yeah.
But because it is February 14th and the 5-year anniversary, I guess my hopes are a little bit higher. My expectations are.
Yeah, like it might be juicy.
Yeah, it might be juicy. Let's see.
But I also feel like Love is Blind is kind of losing its shine. Like it used to be this like really popular reality TV show, and it still is.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's kind of becoming like the Bachelor franchise where I don't have any data to support this, but I feel like it's losing viewers because when I talk to my friends and family who used to be avid Love is Blind watchers, they like have not watched the season since like season 6.
Yeah. Same with mine, actually. Even my sister, she's like, I'm too bored of Love is Blind. Like, I feel like it's the same type of stories and it's nothing new or exciting is happening. And you're totally right about it being just like the Bachelor, Bachelorette franchise, because I feel like their viewership has gone down so much, and you can tell just based on the followers that the Bachelors are getting, and they're like the main star of the show. And I feel like people just don't care as much. Like, you remember when back in the day, even just like 2-3 years ago, when Bachelor Bachelorette was airing, like people would have massive parties and have like watch parties and stuff.
Yeah, like they would like meet up on Mondays.
Yes.
Anything big that happened on the show, like everyone would know about it. Like I never watched any of the Bachelor/Bachelorette shows, and I would even know who was the Bachelor, who was the Bachelorette, who were the big players, you know, like what were the big moments that happened, because they're all over social media and we just like don't see that anymore.
No.
It's kind of losing its like
luster.
pizzazz.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, and I feel like also, unless the characters are like so over the top with their personalities, it's not as engaging. Also, now that social media is such a huge thing, I feel like everyone has a platform now to create their own reality show almost. Like, obviously it's not like on television, but the amount of time we stick to our screens, like on Instagram and TikTok specifically, you can be the star of your own show. And I feel like a lot of people gravitate towards that now versus sitting down and like turning on a TV and watching something in long form. So I totally am with you. But also with The Bachelor, so one of my friends has a friend who's on the show, and so I watched the first episode with her. First of all, it is so long. It's like 2 hours long.
The first episode.
I'm like, what in the world?
I was like, hello? Do you know the day and age we live in? Who has 2 hours to spare on one episode? Like, I'm busy.
Yeah, 2 hours with ads, maybe an hour 35 without.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I've watched in a really long time, because I'm also not an avid watcher of Bachelor, Bachelorette. But in the first episode, the Bachelor, his name is Grant, he kissed 3 to 4 women in the first episode. And could you just imagine being the fourth girl? Like, I just don't.
And just tasting the lip gloss from all the other women. I'd be like, whose plumping lip gloss is this?
What is this taste? No, could you imagine? Like, I just could never be the type of girl to go on the show. Like, no hate to anybody who goes on Bachelor, Bachelorette though, but it just couldn't be me.
No, I couldn't. And I'm also not a competitive person. I'd like see all these women, I'd be like, I gotta go.
Exactly. I'd be like, oh, you gorgeous. I'm gonna step out now.
Yeah. Well, I also feel like they cast like really, really beautiful, like more of that like influencer type of women on the shows.
Yeah.
And so it just could never be me. No. Really could not.
And not to mention, like, while they're kissing and things, like, the other women see it. That would just honestly ruin me, I think.
When you're competing for a guy, like, he becomes like a prize.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And it's like, would I really like him this much or want him this much in the real world where I'm not competing with 25 other women for him?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Honestly, if you think about it, like, I don't know exactly what the numbers are with how successful relationships are from Bachelor, Bachelorette, but I think what makes it different than Love is Blind is that at least with Love is Blind, you get back to your hometown and you kind of experience life living together. So
with one person.
With one person. And it's a little bit more realistic versus The Bachelor, Bachelorette, where you're like in this fantasy la la land doing all these incredible things, going on like amazing trips out of the country and things like that.
And they barely get to know each other. I mean, in Love is Blind, you barely get to know each other. You only have 6 weeks till your wedding date. But
those pods though.
Yeah, but you
intense.
get to know your partner way longer than people on these Bachelor/Bachelorette shows.
Absolutely.
Like I read somewhere where whoever the lead chooses, they only really spent 24 hours together in total.
Insane to me.
Yeah.
And then you get engaged.
And always in front of the cameras too. There's
That's
no
crazy.
no private time like we had on Love is Blind.
Yeah. And I actually remember we talked about this last episode, but on Matt James' season of The Bachelor, Rachel mentioned that like they didn't even have one-on-one time until like the 6th or 7th episode, which boggles my mind. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't have any one-on-one time? The whole structure of that show is actually insane to me. And I don't know how viewers are like, oh yeah, this is cool. Let me watch this.
When I watch a reality TV show around like love or dating or marriage, I like believe in it and start being like, oh my gosh, like she's not here for the right reasons. Like, or like they did this, like, don't they? And I just realized like, wait, I have to take a step back. This is such a crazy experiment.
So crazy.
No one would do well in this sort of experiment. It is not reflective of real life, like real life dating or marriage. I don't know. I see why people watch it though, because it's like interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we did Love is Blind. You know?
That's true. It's very unique and different than what you would normally see in real life. So I guess you're right. It does make it like very fun to watch. Okay, also though, did you see that according to E! News, apparently The Bachelorette is not coming back this summer. So there's just not going to be a Bachelorette season, which is unheard of. Is this the first time in history?
I have no idea, but are you surprised? I feel like The Bachelorette, The Bachelor, like the show is not doing well. Their viewership is going down year after year. It's kind of like super messy. And it's like, yeah, I guess like why would you waste production money on a show that might not get a lot of viewership?
Yeah, that's true. And also I feel like maybe they're a little bit traumatized from Jen's season.
Oh my gosh.
Because of how poorly they treated her. Like the network was kind of terrible to her. So I feel like, I don't know, are they just like...
They're over it.
Yeah, they're
like
over
too
it.
much drama. Yeah. Well, they're gonna bring Bachelor in Paradise in its place because they didn't do it last summer. So maybe they're just trying to figure out like, hey, viewership's low for The Bachelorette. Like, let's try Bachelor in Paradise. I heard they got a new showrunner for Bachelor in Paradise, so maybe they're thinking like it'll spice things up. But honestly, I think the same thing is going to happen to Love is Blind. I think Love is Blind has become so predictable. Like there's a pod stage and then you go on a honeymoon and then you go back to hometowns and then your wedding. And like, yes, there are always new storylines, but like it's still the same.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same stories in different fonts, as we like to say.
So I feel like the same thing's going to happen. I think that's why Netflix is investing in other reality TV shows now to see what hits. Like I heard they have like 3 other reality TV shows that are coming out this year. One that actually Irina from Love is Blind is going to be on.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, that's
from
exciting.
Love is Blind season 4. She was one of the mean girls with Micah. So I don't know. I feel like I could see Love is Blind becoming like the Bachelor and Bachelorette franchise where they're like, all right, it's kind of losing its appeal.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're already seeing that 5 years in now and moving on to season 8. Like I feel like we're already seeing the decline of it. What would be interesting is to see all of these people go on different reality TV shows of Netflix. So it's like Bachelor in Paradise competes with Perfect Match almost.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Netflix is really trying to do reality TV in a big way. And I feel like it's taking away a little bit from Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise.
There is like a little bit of competition. I don't know if people know this. I know people kind of like stack the Bachelor franchise and like Love is Blind against each other. Like, oh, I like Love is Blind so much more or whatever on social media. But actually amongst like contestants from the show, there is a little bit of this like, I wouldn't call it a competition, but we feel like, oh yeah, I was on Love is Blind. Oh yeah, I'm from The Bachelor. Because obviously the contestants from both shows, cast members from both shows, we're like invited to the same events, and many of us are based in the same cities. And so what I've heard from other Love is Blind cast members is like they'll meet someone from The Bachelor or Bachelorette, and there's like egos at play, and there's like kind of the separation where there's like this Love is Blind group and Bachelor/Bachelorette group at these events, and they're friendly, but like there's this like weird sense of like competitiveness. And I was like, that's kind of silly, but kind of fun.
Yeah, no, it's kind of fun actually, because you're totally right, because it's two different networks trying to achieve the same thing. So it's like, oh, which is better? Which one are you going to be on? And there's never any crossover, right? Like I haven't seen.
There will be for Perfect Match.
Oh, is there going to? Oh, yes, there's going to be Bachelor people on Perfect Match now. Okay, interesting. So they're poaching.
Yeah, Netflix poached. But yeah, there is this like weird, like, I don't know how to explain it.
A little competitive nature, but in a friendly way.
I've never experienced it because like our friends from The Bachelor or Bachelorette, like they're so kind and nice. But I heard in New York City and LA, like it's a thing.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't survive.
There's this weird, I don't know, like grouping where they kind of like they'll be at the same events and they kind of stay within their own circles.
That sounds not fun to me. I'm not going to lie.
I know. But that might just be LA and New York. Who knows?
Yeah. That's why I hated LA.
No surprise here, but I'm so mindful of how I spend my money. I typically invest in quality pieces that will last me more than a few years, but even then, I don't like to spend too much on luxury items. And that can be tough because sometimes high quality means high prices, but that's why I really like Quince, because I get those quality pieces and stay within my budget. I just got 2 of their Mongolian crew neck sweaters for only $50.
I have the exact same thought process. Quality is definitely the way to go, and Quince offers a range of high quality items that are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They're able to do that by partnering directly with top factories, cutting out the cost of the middleman, and passing the savings on to us.
So give yourself the luxury you deserve with Quince. Go to quince.com/outofthepods for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
That's QUINCE.com/outofthepods to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/outofthepods.
Going back to Love is Blind though, do you think they're coming out with the season on February 14th for like all the single people to watch it? Because they have nowhere else to be on Valentine's Day?
I feel like it's going to be for the single people, plus it's going to be for those long-term relationship people where their wives and girlfriends force their husbands or boyfriends to watch it with them. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
I just envision like single girlies having like a cute little party together, eating ice cream, drinking champagne, doing everything cutesy. And then you have the relationship people.
Yeah, they're like
forced
all of the dinner reservation. They're like, there's no place to book a dinner reservation. So we're going to stay in, order pizza and watch Love is Blind.
They're like, honey, I know you wanted me to get that reservation, but it was too late. And now we have to watch Love is Blind.
Husbands love is Blind. They would never watch it if they were single.
Agreed.
But the amount of husbands in our DMs, not in like a creepy way, but they're more like don't ever let a man treat you like that. Like, this is what I did for my wife. Like, I'm always like,
thank you.
Thank you, father.
Yes, father. Valentine's Day is going to be interesting. Are you sad that you don't have a partner this year?
No, I'm never sad that I don't have a partner on Valentine's Day.
Hell yeah, girl.
What about you?
No, absolutely not. Even in the 6 years that I was with my ex, he hated Valentine's Day so much that at this point I hate it too. Because I'm like, who cares? I truly do believe it's just a little economy boost holiday.
Oh, 100%.
Because like, why? Who invented Valentine's Day?
When you used to celebrate Valentine's Day with your ex, did you do like cute things with him? Like, you know how people leave little notes around the apartment? Like you see that on social media?
No.
Same.
Absolutely
I feel like
not.
that's just like not my thing.
No, same. And also I feel like weirdly, and I hate to say this, but I feel like the man should do whatever cutesy things for the women for Valentine's Day. And I know there's a lot of women out there who are the opposite and they are the ones doing all the cutesy things, but it just was never me.
Okay, I feel like though on Valentine's Day it's like a mutual thing.
It should be.
Yeah.
It absolutely should be. But my brain is like, no, that man needs to do something for me. Because all year round I do things for him.
Oh man. No, totally. But I feel like I'm really good at giving gifts. Like I put so much thought into a gift.
Yeah.
But I'm not good at receiving gifts. Like I know. I'm not good when like someone does like a huge thing for me, I'm always like, oh my God, you shouldn't have. Like, I feel like guilty and like
it's almost weird. Awkward.
So I'd rather him not. I was like, let's make this mutual. We're just gonna go to dinner. I would never do something all out for Valentine's Day, but I don't think it's my love language. I agree. It doesn't make me happy.
Yeah, I agree with you, because I think like quality time is my love language and words of affirmation, but like little cutesy gifts are not really my
words
thing.
Of affirmation is your love language?
I do love some words of affirmation.
Oh my God, so do I make you feel really unloved?
What do you
I don't
mean?
think I've ever affirmed you in my life.
No, because I think it's like unspoken between us. So it's different when it's like a romantic partner. But yeah, you better start sending me some sweet messages, girl. Anytime I text you, I'm like, hey, sweets. You're like, hi.
I'm like, what? When she calls me, I'm like, what do you want?
She's like, it's you again. We're only because we know it's going to be an hour plus conversation. I'm dead.
Deepti is the only person I can quadruple text. No, I'll text her 10 times in a row and I don't feel anything about it.
Nothing.
I was like, I don't feel like I'm bothering her. I don't feel like I'm being annoying. I was like, I don't care.
No, absolutely not.
At some point, she's going to read them all and respond.
And then, I'm like replying to each little line too. So you're like, it's fine.
Like, it's the people where you have a thought and then you text them and they don't respond right for a few hours, but you have another thought and you're like, I'm going to text it or I have something to tell her.
Absolutely.
And I'll just keep going. And I was like, I don't even give a fuck if she responds or not. I just need her to know.
That's why that's our words of affirmation. Honestly, we're just truly ourselves.
I affirm you telepathically.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the affirmation is just assumed.
Exactly. It's unspoken and assumed. And that's my favorite type. But I think in a romantic relationship, you better be telling me I need a lot of reassurance because I'm insecure.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm working on it, but
no, I was going to say, I didn't know one of your love languages was words of affirmation. Yeah. I thought we were the same where we couldn't take it. Like, I'm not good at getting a compliment. When someone's like, oh my gosh, like your hair looks really good, it's hard for me to say thank you. I have to be like, well, typically it looks like shit. Like,
you're so right. You're so self-deprecating when it comes to that.
So bad at it. And my therapist was like, you need to work on that.
I am the same way. I actually don't like receiving compliments.
It's hard, right?
It's really difficult because I come up with, I can't just be like, thank you, I appreciate it. I also have to like be like, oh yeah, like it's just like something that I did something differently today. Like you just like word vomit. Yeah. Because you're like so uncomfortable with the feeling.
Now, 50% of the time when I receive a compliment, I will say like, thank you so much. That's really kind of you to say because my therapist is like, just accept the compliment. But the other 50%, I'm like, oh my, you should see me on like a regular day. I look so bad. Like
you're like, you should see me without makeup. Yeah. Like internally you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, it's like, please stop complimenting me.
Oh dude, I'm the exact same way. But I love like acts of service, not towards me, but like giving acts of service. Okay. Too. That's like my love language too. So, but that's why on Valentine's Day, I don't want to be giving you any type of act of service.
You're tired.
I'm tired from the entire year. Like you need to be doing something nice for me and that's thoughtful. But my expectations have been so low with Valentine's Day ever since my ex is just like not like about Valentine's Day whatsoever. Yeah. And I think that kind of sucks and says a lot about the relationship if I'm being quite honest. But he would always also get me things like the day or a couple days after Valentine's Day. I'm like, why? Because it was on sale.
Oh my God.
Everything's on sale.
I mean, look, I'm not against that.
Could you imagine how hiked prices are on actual Valentine's Day? Because a lot of people are doing like last minute gifts, like picking up flowers or chocolates or cards. Yeah. And they're like, oh, like 5 days ago, this was like $5.99. Now it's $10.99.
You know what though? I want to make that like a tradition if I ever have a family on my own. Yeah. I'm gonna be like, we're celebrating Christmas actually 2 days after Christmas when everything's on sale. Okay. Yes. Because I am that type of person. So after every holiday, I will go to the store like Target and all of their seasonal things will be on sale, right? Yes. Like after the holiday has passed. And that's when I'll do like all of my shopping, like any chocolates I want, like any little gifts, like that's when you grab it.
Honestly, that is such a smart hack, because tell me why, even this year, my sister-in-law and her family, the day after Christmas, they're Hallmark like ornament shopping. And apparently it's like a huge thing because people will buy everything on sale and there's like long lines and like a wait, and they actually go into Hallmark and buy all the ornaments. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't know why, but I was like so dumbfounded by that.
Oh,
like, this is insane.
Yeah, like there's candles, trees, ornaments for like 75% off. And I was like, okay, this is when I start buying stuff. Like if I want chocolate for Valentine's Day, you best believe I'm waiting until February 17th. Because it's going to be 70% off at Target.
Don't try to convince me that what my ex did was right, okay? How dare you? I mean, I logically it makes sense, but romantically I'm upset, you know? Like, I'm like, why would you do this to me? But also, I do have to say, though, I'm super happy that I'm not in a situationship this Valentine's Day. Like, I was thinking about that. Like, how awkward is it? Like, say you've been like kind of seeing each other for like 2 to 3 months, and then bam, Valentine's Day comes. Like, do you have to sit there and define the relationship? Do you like go on a special date? Do you just ignore it? Like, what are the rules for a situationship on Valentine's Day?
I don't know. Because like, is a situationship where you both are like in that weird dating stage before being in a relationship?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
Things are very unspoken. Like, you're just
feel like you
fun.
just ignore it. Like you just don't celebrate Valentine's Day.
That's
why would I want to celebrate Valentine's Day with a situationship?
I don't know. Because like
why would I want to give gifts to a guy who's not like I'm your boyfriend?
Oh, you're totally right. Why act like the girlfriend when you have a situationship?
Yeah. If I don't have the title of girlfriend, I'm not acting like your girlfriend.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. You said it better than me. Yes, that. Because really though, why are you acting like a wifey or a girlfriend when you don't have it?
I'm not dressing up on Valentine's Day for a situationship.
But that sucks, because we're saying that because we're from the outside looking into the situationship. If I was like thick into a situationship, I would be like, okay, he better ask me to be his girlfriend. Check yes or no.
Well, duh. Yeah. I feel like that's what the situationship. Like, isn't that the end goal? Like, okay, assess if you guys are good for each other. And if you really like him, he better ask.
Yeah, he better.
He better have that relationship talk.
I feel like if you're like a month into a situationship, maybe forget Valentine's Day. But if it's like 2-3 months, use that as an excuse to talk about your relationship and where it's going. And if it's not
Valentine's Day.
Hey, so are you going to check yes or no?
Now I'm kind of slow in the dating stage.
Really?
Like I like having the talk more at like the 4, 5, 6 month mark.
Oh, wow. Okay. Can I just tell you, you know how I was telling you about this little crush guy?
Yeah.
I want things to move fast. When I message him, we are meeting in the next month. You are proposing to me in 2 to 3 months. Like,
what? That's very
where
slow in Love is Blind time. So
Exactly.
like that's like 3 years in Love is Blind time.
Can I just tell you, I feel like reality TV has ruined that for us in a way. I mean, I understand that we're not in the pod, so fine, I'll give you 10 to 15 days.
Yeah.
But you better be professing your love to me, because listen, I feel like I'm 34 now. This man that I have a crush on, 37, 38.
Left.
Like, what are you waiting
I'm just
for?
Kidding. That was a joke, and she didn't acknowledge it.
So these are the types of words of affirmations I get from that.
You only have 2 good years left, bitch.
No, but honestly, I want to like fast track everything. But I think reality TV kind of ruined that for me, because now that I think about Love is Blind, that I was so ready to marry somebody, knowing them 10 to 15 days. Like, I feel like I'm kind of like in that same mindset still, where I want things to go fast. Like, I feel like I don't have the time to be waiting anymore.
Wow, we are very different. We've had different impacts. Like the show has impacted us in different ways, because I feel like that's why that situationship period, that dating period between going on that initial first date to it becoming a relationship is like way longer.
Yeah.
I'm now like super careful, and I realize like, okay, if I make decisions too fast, like how I was about to say yes on Love is Blind, I always think about like, imagine if I said yes. I have like a clear idea how my life would have turned out.
Yeah.
And it would have not been good.
Yeah.
And so I'm now like take a really long time to assess, like, do I actually want to be with this person? Do I actually want to call him my boyfriend?
Yeah.
So I'm just a little bit more careful. But I do also have that side of me where I was like, okay, I also like want to quicken it up because it went so fast on Love is Blind. Like I don't have an idea of like what a normal relationship timeline is.
Actually, that's so interesting because you're right. Like we had such different experiences. I feel like my experience, I was just like, oh, it's just not the right person, not the right time. But when I find that person, I feel like everything will just kind of align and I'll just know.
Yeah.
But that's like honestly fantasy world, right? That's what I picture things happening. But you're totally right about how you were so close to making the wrong decision. So now you're like, okay, wait, I need to think things through and actually take the time to understand it before I'm like, just jump into a situation.
Totally. Because I was like, how come I just like ignored all of these things during those 6 to 7 weeks?
Yeah.
You know, like, and I was like, okay, I cannot be that person. And I just also realized you don't see a person's true colors until like 6 months to a year.
Yep.
And even probably longer. And I was like, okay, I think sometimes it's worth the wait. But at the same time, I'm like, shouldn't we be saying I love you at like day 10? Like what's going on?
No, oh man, I don't know. Like I've always wanted this like hopeless romantic type of love story, which is why I'm not on the dating apps. Like I just want to meet somebody organically, and I say that all the time, but it's not realistic anymore. I feel like the internet is the best place to find somebody. I don't know. I met New York.
I met New York boy organically, and so I feel like it can happen. But I also feel like, you know, that hopeless romantic. I think you could always have that in you, but it might be the pessimist in me. People might disagree with this. Pod besties, let me know if I'm being too harsh, but I just feel like it's not realistic, you know, anymore.
It's especially
of like
in this
that
modern
Prince
world.
Charming like love story. Like I feel like that's just. It's hard to find that.
Yeah.
Our world has completely changed.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're in this new modern world of dating now. And if you're not looking for somebody on the internet, which there's plenty of fish in the sea, as they say, versus you kind of honing in on the area that you're in and hoping for like oh my gosh, I'm just going to bump into my soulmate type of scenario. It's just not realistic to think that way anymore, which is exactly why I will message this man that I like in 2 to 3 months.
No, I love it. You should absolutely message him.
I will. And I think that's a big thing that I'm changing in the way I think. I'm like, oh, the man should kind of seek me out or, you know, make the initiative. But no, like I feel like it's more empowering if you like somebody, just go and make the effort and just take the initiation.
I know. Sometimes I never know if this is like a bad thing about my personality. I'm not saying I'm a go-getter, but when I want something to happen, I'll have to be the first one to make the move. That even applies to like relationships.
Yeah.
I will say for me, most of my relationships, it's been me initially doing the pursuing.
Yeah.
Like not in like an aggressive way, but more so like sending the first like, hi, like, oh my, like starting the first conversation or sending the first DM.
Yeah. You can either wait for things to happen for you or you can go out and pursue it. And I'm totally with you. I think my experience is so different where men have reached out to me. And so I kind of wait for it. But I'm changing that mindset completely. It's time to just put in the effort. Actually, the comedian Pete Davidson, he was just, I don't remember what he was on, but he was on a talk show and he was saying how attractive it is when women like are forward with him or like ask him out. And I think a lot of men are like that, where they think it's very attractive when a woman is like, hey, like is actively pursuing you.
Yeah. And I'd rate myself a 5 out of 10. Like, let's be real. It's not like I'm a supermodel or anything. No, 100%. Like, I was like, I don't think I'm like very realistic with how I look. Like, I'm just like an average woman. But I'm telling you, like, something about making the first move, like, men are like into that.
Yeah, it's empowering.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing it because I'm getting men out of my league and I don't care.
Yes. Hell yeah. That's the energy of this year.
Yeah. Okay, this is not related to Valentine's Day at all. One thing that I've been following, just because I've been seeing it all over social media, is the breakup of Paige DeSorbo and Craig Conover, because I feel like it's about to get a little bit wild.
It's already getting so messy because I watched Craig on Watch What Happens Live with Andy, and he was talking about how he's like going through the stages of a breakup, and he's like, yeah, I'm almost like getting through the phases. And I'm like, bro, you are still in the anger phase and you can tell.
Yeah.
He was so like upset. And I don't know, there's like a lot of cheating allegations right now, right? With Paige.
So let me give you the backstory. They used to be the it couple of Bravo. So Paige is on Summer House and Craig is on Southern Charm. And they started dating 3 years ago. It was long distance. Paige is based in New York City and Craig is in Charleston in North Carolina. And like people thought they were going to get married. Like even though they were long distance, people were like, oh my gosh, like they're just perfect together if they just figure out the long distance piece. But some people were like, wait, they're still long distance. I don't know. Paige isn't really giving the vibe that she wants to settle down like Craig is. And then they broke up, and Paige announced it on her podcast last December. And she was like, it was a mutual breakup. I have so much respect for him. Like they're trying to keep it very like cute and nice. And Craig went on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, and he was like, it wasn't mutual. Specifically said she just wanted other people.
Okay, you know what's really crazy to me is these two people were in a relationship for, I don't know, years. And it's crazy how after the breakup, you become complete strangers and you no longer have each other's back. What
I know. Isn't that so scary about breakups?
It's so scary because you don't know what your ex-partner is going to do. And it's so like, I don't know, it's unpredictable. Yeah. But what pisses me off about this whole situation is that apparently they broke up over Thanksgiving. So right after Thanksgiving. And then Craig had like a bunch of like interviews to do for Southern Charm right after. And Paige goes, if you want to say that we're still together because you're still dealing with the breakup, I'm totally fine with that. And this man actually lied and said that they were like planning things and like they were, I don't know, maybe like talking about engagements, whatever it was on all these interviews.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're broken up. And I think that's like really frustrating because from Paige's perspective, she's like, okay, take the time that you need. I'll allow you this. But then Craig doesn't stand up for her when there's all these cheating allegations.
Yeah. So people think that Paige cheated on Craig, and he never disputed that. And people are like, stand up for her. Like, she didn't cheat on you.
Right.
But he's like, I'm the ex-boyfriend here. Like, it's not my business. Like, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's getting like pretty messy. But it's hard to like figure out who to believe. Not saying like there's a side per se. It's a breakup. Obviously, we don't know exactly what happened in that breakup. But Craig is known to be like a really good liar. Southern Charm is like a long-running reality TV show. And like throughout the seasons, like he has been caught in some major lies. And the fact he even like was really good at lying as he's doing press for Southern Charm, acting like they're together when they were broken up per Paige. So I don't know if like what he's saying is truly true. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And like, honestly, I'm a huge fan of Southern Charm, and I'm a huge fan of the person that Craig has become since having Paige in his life. I think he is so much better than past seasons, but I have to side with my girl Paige because I feel like maybe she led him on a little bit to think that she might change her mind about like wanting that picket fence life, or, maybe doing half of her time in Charleston and half of her time in New York. But I feel like you're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to change your mind. You're not engaged. You're getting to that point where it's like the breaking point. You're allowed to be like, okay, you know what? I no longer can see myself getting there. And it sucks, but like that's the reality of the situation.
But people are comparing the situation with the Matt James and Rachel Kirkconnell breakup, being like, well, yeah, Paige is allowed to change her mind, but like Matt James is allowed to change his mind too. And, he got tons of backlash. I don't know. That's why I'm always like, we don't know anything about the breakups. When there's no cheating involved or like someone didn't do something really bad to the other person. It's like just a normal breakup.
It is. And also, I think the people are really pissed about the Matt James and Rachel situation more because of how it was done and the way he posted about it. Whereas Paige and Craig, new information is coming out at different times. So people are like, oh my gosh, I'm siding with this person or I'm siding with that person. And that is the messiest part about a public breakup.
Yeah.
It sucks.
And I feel like Paige and Craig have never really shared the full reason for the breakup. Like it's more like, we just broke up. Obviously, he said she just wanted other people, but like we don't know.
That's
just his, like, we don't know what she was thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and again, he has the history of lying, so who knows?
And he just sounds like a scorned ex-boyfriend at this point, if I'm being honest.
But I was thinking about that, and I was just like, I know we were in public relationships, but the thought of just like how you have to answer to the public or try to save your public reputation. I remember how stressful that was for us.
Yeah. And also, do you remember like, even in this scenario of Paige and Craig, like the cast is kind of taking sides.
Yes.
And so like they.
Just like we did with Nick and Danielle's divorce and Ayanna and Jarrett's divorce.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, and that adds on an interesting dynamic too, because obviously Southern Charm is doing a lot of press and then Summer House is too. So it's like, there's so many more people involved too, and they're saying things that like Paige and Craig can't control. So it's like, it's a lot to go through a public breakup.
I know. And then you're totally right about like, you know, probably Craig was one of the few people that Paige could trust fully. And then they get out of a relationship and you know, and all the trust is gone. And that's what really scares me about relationships is like, you tell your partner almost everything and you build this foundation of trust and you break up and like that's gone.
Yeah. And you're complete strangers. And it's like almost like all that intimate time you spent together no longer matters. And like, it's just crazy to think, breakups are so hard.
Oh my gosh. This conversation makes me never want to be in a relationship.
No, because you'll find your forever person and then, you know, you don't have to ever.
But all the people in between, they'll be like spilling all my secrets.
I know. Isn't that scary to think about? Like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe I spent every single day with somebody for 6 years and now I have no idea what they're doing or like what they're thinking
and you don't know who they're with. You no longer love them.
Yes.
Isn't it crazy? Like people say love is forever, but it really is not.
I don't know.
Like you could stop loving people.
Yeah. Well, you know, my favorite phrase is like, I love you from afar.
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite thing to say.
But do you love your ex from afar for real?
Kind of.
Like in your heart, you're like, I love him from afar.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I have love for him though because of the time we spent together and what I learned from it.
But you could stop loving someone.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I no longer love that person at all. But like I have love for them.
But isn't that like a scary thought? You could literally just like boop, forget someone.
I know. Oh, that's so sad to think about. Relationships are so weird in that way.
And then you think back and you're like, ooh, how come I even liked that person?
Yeah, then now they give you the ick. You're like,
I know.
Oh, you're with the girl that you told me not to worry about? Cool.
But also be like, this is who you became?
Yeah. You're like, that's the beard.
This was going to be my life if I stayed with you? No, thanks.
No, thank you. We're good.
But yeah, crazy.
Crazy. Also, guys, I'm doing something super fun this week. I'm going on a little Canadian book tour. Also, it's like a little Valentine's Day special. A lot of people have already messaged me being like, I'm looking forward to seeing you. And we're talking about like love, relationships, hopefully not too much on sex, but only because one of our pod besties messaged me and she was like, I really want to bring my 13-year-old daughter to your show. Like, can I bring her? Is she too young? And I'm like, no, bring her. So I'm hoping not to talk about sex and I can't curse. I think I could do it.
You could do what we try to do. We're like,
Yeah.
like, you know exactly what I'm trying to say when I go,
yeah. I'll be like, but so I promised her. But yeah, I'm super excited. And then to end this leg of tour in Toronto, I'm doing this night called Fuck Ups. And I think all the girlies come together and we talk about life fuck ups, which is kind of fun.
Deepti will be posting more info on her Instagram if anyone wants more details on how to join any of these, I wish I could be there.
I know, me too.
I know. I'm moving out, so I have to be at home to pack up all my stuff. So
it's time for new chapters.
New chapters.
Yep. But I'm really excited to meet all of you guys in Canada. So Pod Besties, I'm excited to see you.
And maybe you'll, meet a Canadian man.
We've done Canadian men before. Nope.
Oh, yeah?
Nope, it's out the door.
Well, let us know if you are excited for Love is Blind Season 8. We're excited to start a recap on that season next week.
And make sure you guys leave a review and subscribe.
See you next Wednesday.
Bye.